The Brisbane Lions Fancast has got another new look this week, and you may recognise me, but in my other life, some would call it my real life, I actually do a radio show with a gentleman sitting across from me right now. JD, Q Clash semi-final is just around the corner. Thanks for indulging me and having a bit of a chat here.
Hey man, I've been living in the spoils of finals victory, which is something that I never thought I would be saying at the start of the 2025 season, but here we are.
Now you've done a bit of work with the Turn Over the Tape Gold Coast Suns podcast.
Yeah, shout out to those guys if you want to go and listen to them. I think one of the only Suns-based podcasts. So,
as far as I'm aware, yeah.
Yeah. So they're doing their thing. They had Keegan from the podcast went over to WA to watch the game. Matt couldn't go because he was in Cairns on prior booked trip, so he was quite pissed. But I know, family stuff,
Come
right?
on, mate.
Yeah.
I get it. Even Suns fans, you should.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to learn.
Yeah.
Don't book stuff in September.
Yeah, and I'm learning that the hard way myself with the game this Saturday, which I'm working right up until the death of. So that'll be really interesting. But no, it's been crazy. It's been really, really good. It feels really weird watching footy that counts for something in September.
It is a different feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's strange.
It's awesome.
Now, there is a fair case to be made that the Suns did cash in all their bickies on the weekend. The emotional trip over to Perth, David Swallow. It is a trip to Perth, so you come back on the Sunday, I believe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was the next day.
So a day less preparation. Although, having said that, like those are the reasons why maybe you've cashed in all your tickets, as I said. But recent history between our two clubs will say that you are going to be riding it up to your eyeballs.
Oh, I guess it's also like. First things first is that we went over to Optus Stadium and didn't get any injuries, which is more than
is a win.
It's more than most can say for playing Optus because it is that sort of a stadium, unfortunately. So no injuries, which is fantastic. Yeah, shorter break, I can understand that sort of thing, but I don't know because I've never been there before. But I don't know what happens at this time of the year. Like, what do you do through the week? Like, you just kind of want to be cooling down and getting your muscles ready for the weekend. Like, you're not going to change anything, right? Or do you think?
No, you gotta keep routine for one.
Yeah.
But the training obviously amplifies because, as you would have seen, and it probably wasn't until midway through the third quarter for your game that it actually looked like a genuine finals footy match.
It was contested.
Up until then, it was sort of like, it looked like your normal home and away game, but then it really did
got scrappy. Yeah. And it's interesting as well because, of course, the Suns come off the back of, I guess, something that we haven't seen before with the way that we rolled into finals, obviously having the extra game against Essendon on the Wednesday. We had a shorter turnaround to anyone. And at the start of the season, we sort of had to ask ourselves, like, what does this mean for us? Is it going to be a hindrance or is there a chance that perhaps it keeps the momentum going? And, I mean, without trying to get ahead of myself, I think it might have been a good thing, having that game there at that point in time, just to keep everybody, obviously a 100-point win is a great thing to go into the finals with as well. Bit of confidence, but just, I don't know, for momentum's sake, you have, for Geelong, obviously, they don't play this week because they took you guys out, but obviously it's the position you want to be in.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because, it's one less win that you have to get, but is there, like, do you think that there's a chance that the bye cools you down too much?
Yeah, I mean, there's been numbers and stats and all that sort of stuff since the introduction of the preseason bye.
Yeah.
Before and after, like, how many qualifying finalists have gone on to make the grand final. It was something like, I don't know, it was like 17 of 18.
Yeah, right.
And then as soon as that one, it drastically reduced to almost 50-50.
Right, okay.
And for the Geelong last year as well, they had an easy win against, I can't remember who their opponent was in the last home and away game. They had the week off. They came in, smashed Port, like no issue. Another week off, and then they came in against us on the MCG, and Chris Fagan used that as well, they've had a bit of an easy run. We're battle-hardened, and, what was.
Yeah.
And obviously, very different set of circumstances this year. They had a really easy run into finals, and then they came out and absolutely just blitzed us.
It was pretty crazy, yeah. Obviously, they looked incredible against you guys, and they'll be tough to beat. They will be very, very tough to beat.
I mean, they're probably in seat 1A at the moment, and they're just thankful that GWS has been knocked out.
Yep. Yeah, that's the one. I think and I think if memory serves, we lost to Geelong. I think that Suns thing of like, whoever the Suns beat in the home and away season never goes on to win the flag.
So Geelong is the only team.
It's the only one.
Yeah. So that weird stat is still
also,
out there.
That's there too. Yeah.
But so far, a Q Clash, hasn't been seen in finals yet. It is, there's been many Q Clashes over the years that have said, this is going to be the biggest one. But this is the one with actual ramifications, with stakes.
Yeah, it is.
And, compared to the last time we met where you pulled our pants down, now you bring in Tuke Miller and Rioli as well, who were missing from that famous win.
Yeah.
And we are quite injured.
Yeah, it's really weird, man. It's hard to know what this is going to look like. Obviously, you guys have got all the experience in the world from having played finals, won it all. And your team is largely more experienced in that sense, but then of course you've got like new fellas in there as well. And you are also like balancing the team out with a bunch of young kids who, in their own right have played their way into the team and looking really good. But then, I'm sure you'll go on to say that like the defense hasn't been there from you guys because they're not playing both sides of the ball.
Yeah,
and
it's definitely an issue with the Ashcrofts for certain. I said to you, they've grown up never having to defend. And being told how good and brilliant they are their whole life, and now suddenly you're in the AFL system and you've got to be accountable for someone, and they are finding that out the hard way. Yeah.
So do you think it's going to come down to, thinking about what the victory looks like for each of us, like, do you think that the victory for you will be just kick more points and concede less, but still concede a lot?
Yes and no. The two games this year is obviously the midfield has been the thing. Yeah. We smacked you in the midfield in whatever it was, round 8, and Dunkley kept Rao to 16 touches or something.
Yeah.
You fast forward until a couple of weeks ago, you bring in Al Davies, who sort of acted like Matt Rao's bodyguard.
Exactly,
and, Rao went on an absolute tear, so did Anderson as well. So you smacked us up in there. Our effort simply wasn't there for that game. So it's hard to know what you take away from that, but we've obviously accrued a few more injuries since then as well. So it is, I think finals experience is going to have to play a little bit of a part in this, but that midfield is where it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see because Al Davies will stay in the team. I don't think that Will Graham will come in. I think we'll basically roll out the same team, but I do feel like we'll probably leave David Swallow out and put Jake Rogers in as the sub.
Yep.
That's how I probably see it going. So I think that it'll still be a similar lineup of Davies and Dunkley are probably going to be on one another. I think that
Dunkley is going to try and go to Rao.
And for sure, and that's what I mean. I think that Davies will be trying to stop that from happening as best as he can. So if Dunkley gets through that sort of pressure, because that's the thing with Davies too, is that he's had down games. Like I really rate Davies, and of course he had a fantastic game to get us that win in Freo. He got the ball out of that contest, high scrimmage stuff, and managed to get it to Rao to eventually get that winner. But he has the potential to have a down game. Obviously, I wouldn't wish that on him. But he doesn't have that experience of playing week in, week out. So, he needs to. I feel like he's going to be a real key component because if he can stop Dunkley from doing what I'm sure his task is going to be, and the rest of the team, and if Dunkley is successful, then the rest of the team will have to lift around him. And I don't know. It's going to be a Bailey Humphrey thing as well. Because you're going to have him and Rayner at opposite ends of the park. Like, who's going to have a bigger impact in that respect? We saw what Rayner did. He kicked a bunch of goals, albeit freebies, but he still turned the game and kind of brought it back to.
Yeah, it sort of made it a little bit respectable at halftime, where it could have been an absolute blowout. So Humphreys, you've just got a number of players in your team that the way they play the game is sort of built for finals, and Rao and Anderson are obviously two of those. Tuke Miller, I've been wanting to see him play finals for years. Yeah. And Humphreys is another one.
Yeah, and Tuke had an interesting kind of game as well, because I think he was on 11 touches to three-quarter time or something. Like, it was really, really strange for him, but I think he finished with, the highest amount of tackles on the ground. I think he finished with 11 or 12 tackles or something insane. Yeah. So he had a different role in the sense of, and they were important tackles too. A bunch of them were holding the ball frees that we ended up winning. So how he's used, if he gets off the chain and gets disposals as well, obviously that'll be a big thing. But I don't know. I mean, I go into this game thinking, okay, great, we don't have to travel. So the travel time from Perth means that we should be in a better position than, to have to go back down to Melbourne or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're in it. I mean, the odds say that we're not.
You're definitely in it. You're in it for your eyeballs.
Yeah.
And a lot of that comes down to the personnel we've got on the park at the moment as well. So our forward line is just cooked at the moment. So it's two kids and an old man that you got rid of.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. I mean, I've been waiting to see if Sam Day will have his legacy game against us at some point.
Well, I mean, as it stands here, it's Wednesday afternoon. I reckon he may be dropped from the team, and Oscar might come back in, or no, they won't bring in Henry Smith. That's too young. I reckon Oscar might come back in because I think he can do a similar, if not better, job than
really?
Sam Day. Yeah.
Okay. I want to just play him forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
And relief ruck because
sure.
Wits is obviously a top 5 ruck in the competition as well, and smacks us up every time. So,
yeah.
like, I think in an effort to try and break even, we need 2 genuine A-grade ruckers in there, and it hasn't worked for us in the past. It certainly didn't work for us against you guys last time when we had both of them in the team.
Yeah, what's the weather looking like for Saturday too? Is it going to be...
I think it's going to be a bit of rain, but I think it's going to be largely all right.
Because that's been the case for the 2 Q clashes this year.
Yep.
The Gabba was probably a drier game than the one at PFS.
Yeah. Definitely.
PFS was very wet, and that I feel like added to the we don't want to be here, we're down now, let's just pack it in from you guys.
Oh yes,
there's a lot of that.
And you couldn't miss.
Yeah, we were deadly accurate, which could have put the game away against Freo too if we had just sealed some of those shots. And interestingly enough as well, I mean, I don't think that Ben King will have as bad of a game in terms of accuracy in front of the sticks against you guys. Maybe he will, I don't know, but if he's still able to like work his way up the ground, I think that was like new ground for us.
Yeah.
Because he's, he works his way there at some points, but he was really fundamental in getting that ball moving through a different chain. And I think that's what allowed, players like Humphrey and Farah to get those.
Well, that is the role for us that Hipwood plays, is getting a bit more up the ground, taking a relief kick, a bailout, and he's got good field kicking and can get the ball inside 50.
Yeah, and he's no longer.
No.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I don't know that the forward that you guys have now, the young kid that you brought in, Gallup. Yeah. How do you rate him?
Small sample size. His defensive efforts have been really good. Like his follow-up work, his tackling has been, for a key position player, has been absolutely fantastic. Hasn't hit the scoreboard yet. He's taken a couple of nice marks, but he's only had the 3 games and has been quiet. But it's sort of to be expected from a 19-year-old kid. So hopefully he can kick his first goal this week. But and similar to Ben King last week, as you'll find out, finals is not really the time for tall forwards to shine.
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone is on top of every ball at once. And I guess it might come down to who wants it more in the end. I mean, I feel like I saw something from the Suns in Freo that was really inspiring in the way that we went about it. And I really thought that when Jackson kicked that goal, it was done.
Yep, you probably weren't alone there.
Yeah, it really felt like the wind had been really taken from the sails, but somehow, we rallied around and Mac went forward, which was, great to see. It just makes me wonder about, what next year is going to be like, because I do feel like Mac has to play forward. He spoils the contest well down back, but I feel like his hands are so good that if he allows himself to take those marks rather than just spoiling.
If you can get Charlie Ballard back, I think that's probably the best thing, because Mac Andrew he's liable to give away a couple of goals a game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously like similar to Cam Rayner. You can get under Mac Andrew's skin.
It can go both ways, of course. Yeah. So that'll be really interesting. I'll be really interested to see how the midfield battle plays out and like where the tagging goes. Who's able to like lift for.
Well, Dimmer doesn't tag famously.
That will just be doing what we do.
Yeah,
and that's my worry for the Suns, is that I wonder that. We go in there and nothing is sort of changed. I feel like the Ben King movement was good. That felt like something new. But it's sort of like, I think the Suns that you get are the Suns that you've got.
Yeah, there's an element of that. I think the best thing Dimmer's obviously done is change up the structure of that forward line and got rid of Jed Walter, so you haven't got 3 talls down there, and brought in Farah, and it just looks so much more balanced.
Yeah.
A few more, avenues to goal, a little bit more speed on the ball as well, and you brought in... Like, you've just got so many players that can play midfield at the moment, with Flanders and Fiorini and Davies and Rowell and Anderson. So it's...
They stay fresh for the game, which is good, because we never did that under Dew. The midfield rotation was...
Oh, yeah.
This is what
it
is.
3 every time, yeah.
And you better win, because that's how it's going.
And then, of course, Toot Miller in there as well, who I've neglected to mention in that whole
of
players. And it's probably not something people have associated with the Suns for quite a while as a midfield depth, but now you've just got so many players that can run through there, and, us the same with obviously Neil's out, but Levi will get a few more midfield minutes. Zach Bailey's playing a little bit more inside mid.
He's the player for you guys that I'm the most worried about, because he's been known to get on a tear.
Yeah,
and I feel like I don't know who will play on Bailey necessarily, because I imagine that Euland will probably be on Logan, perhaps. Do you think that's where the matchup will be there?
Or no, I think Collins will probably go to Logan Morris.
Yeah, okay.
Number 1. It depends how bad you want to free up Collins.
Yeah.
Like, is it the type where Sam Collins plays on like the number 2 or number 3 forward, so he can actually
move around the back
and yeah. And then you've got Newland and obviously McAndrew there as well. And between the three of us, the three, the tall forwards we've got, whether that's Oscar or Sam Day, it might change. But I really rate Bodie Newland.
Man, that mark that he took was basically what won us the game. I think, he deserves a lot of praise. He's been so solid all year.
He's probably a more suitable matchup to someone like a Cam Rayner, I think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
potentially.
Oof. See how that goes. I mean, I think he'd defend it suitably, but we'll just have to sort of see how that plays out in the wash. I'm so excited though. It's gonna be
it's gonna be absolutely rocking the Gabba. Sold out, which is obviously fantastic, and it's hard to see the bigger picture at the moment in the how good is this for footy in Queensland, because there is obviously this rivalry, and I don't know, it's there's definitely been spice over the years. The two sort of mastheads for that are Turk and Zorko, and then you've got Stephen May with Steph Martin along the way as well. And, Nick Holman always likes to get in our face when he plays.
Well, that's true as well. It will be funny to see how intense the game is, because of course we didn't get the Miller Zorko thing, which I feel like could be the instigator for some of those things. Ben Ainsworth also loves a scrap.
He does.
So maybe that's what will get him in the game, because he was the sub. He got subbed out for us against Freo. He was really limited. Just couldn't find the ball for whatever reason. I don't know if he was getting played off it by his direct opponent, or if he just couldn't find his way through. But that's that can happen with him sometimes. So I don't know whether it could feel like a State of Origin game. They could just be pushing and shoving off the ball all the time.
I think so. And from what I've seen so far, it looks like the Suns players definitely are up for it.
Yeah. Well, we're up for it, but then you've got players like Davies and Andrew and Ben Ainsworth, who I worry because they are such hotheads. Like Davies loves giving away free kicks, loves giving away 50s, and I just know that they do see red. And I don't know what Fagan's like as a coach. I don't know if that's going to be some messaging going through where it's like we're under the pump here, like we down to we're playing fresh faces, and you feel like you're up against it. You know, you're the reigning premiers, but let's get dirty with it. Let's get down in the muck. Do you think that's going to be I
don't know that Fags particularly will get that message across. I think he'll probably leave that to some of the playing group, like Dane Zorko, to relay that message, and
the muck man himself.
Maybe even Harris Andrews to say, hey, come on, let's. I guess there's sorts of both motivations here. Is obviously we need to try and stamp our authority of being the bigger brother, and hey, if you want to come play finals, you got to come to our house, and
for sure.
On the flip side, it's you've beaten us up for so long. How about we get you where it matters most and knock you out of the finals, which I'm sure is going to be a motivating factor for so many of your players as well.
You can make a case for the story both ways, which is why the game feels like it's going to come down to the same level of tension as the Freo game. And that's what I hope as a spectator as well. I mean, you want it to be a close game, but obviously you want your team to come out on top at the end. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's funny. I think that, Brisbane have favoured pretty heavily going through, I think, just on the experience alone. But when you really look at it, it seems like it's going to be a lot closer.
I think it will be. I don't think it's going to be an absolute lay-down misère. I do think that maybe there's something to be said about the emotional toll of last week.
Yeah, for sure.
For you guys, and maybe that's just me manifesting it for myself.
Well, how hard did we party after winning our first final as well?
But rightly so too. Yeah. You shouldn't just, Dimmer's been there, done that for, plenty of times.
Yeah.
I think he would know how to find the appropriate balance of hey, you need to celebrate this because it is a moment in history for our club. Mm-hmm. But don't forget, we've got work on the other side as well. So.
Well, famously, I ran into Jesse Hogan after a regular season game in Brisbane when I happened to be up there, and that was just a regular old day, and he was getting on it. So I do wonder, what that energy was like, but obviously you got a flight to make the next day, so you can't go so hard. It's not like you can, go out in the town and then rock up to training on Wednesday without having to fly somewhere. But yeah, I wonder, because we do have some of those energies on the team. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. Just really good that we're not carrying any injuries moving forward, and we get to just go, there's not going to be anything left going, what if? For you guys, I suppose, you have a bit more of that where it's sort of well, next year, you're going to have all this talent coming through as well. Plus,
well, that's the thing is we've already sort of, I think a fair amount of Brisbane supporters are already looking forward to 2026 with, some of the names that have already been linked to the club, and, getting players like Jack Payne back and Noah Answorth at some point during next year, and maybe Jordan Ridley. That seems a fair way off. But then on the flip side, it's like, well, Cal Archie's probably not going to be there.
Yeah.
Brandon Starcevich probably not going to be there. How are we going to fill those sorts of roles? What role does Charlie Cameron have in this team anymore? Is he there for round one, or is Link McCarthy coming back in to take that spot? It's
The fact that people are asking that question of Charlie makes me really scared as well, because
he doesn't mind playing the Suns.
Yeah, and back against the wall, you just feel like it's going to be motorbike all night. Because that was the thing that really got under my skin. Of course, it's designed to do it, but just getting Sweet Caroline all day was just... Oh, no, Country Road, sorry.
Yeah.
Country Roads. That Q clash where I went to the Gabba was just... Yeah, it was tough. It does take a mental toll.
Yeah.
So I feel like, if he wants to prove a point, this is the game to do it. No bigger time to kick a bunch of goals against a team that you love kicking goals against.
Well, and I think that's probably an area we can sort of expose you in, is the sort of lack of smaller, medium-type, strong defenders, and Bodie Ewan's probably the closest.
For sure.
He's physically very similar to Brandon Starcevich. But, Connor Butterick used to play that role.
He did.
And used to do it quite well. Now he's more your defensive forward. But in terms of your other backs, you've got, attacking halfbacks. Like we've got Zorko and Wilmot. You've got Rioli and Noble. And
then Powell, who floats around.
And Weller as well. But,
yeah.
Powell is certainly no mug.
No, absolutely. But I feel like he'll be pushed a little bit. That, like you said, it's all offensively minded defense. So if one of those guys does get on a tear, it's sort of hard because it will destabilize the way we set to rebound. Because, you've got those guys like Powell that, really defined the way we attacked the game against Freo as well, taking really good intercept marks and then great kicks to players in space, which was, it's amazing what that'll do to open the game up. Weller's been good as well, so hopefully he can maintain that energy. He had a really good statement about, wanting to repay the club for sticking by him. Of course, like he, was a guy who had been bereft of finals and hadn't really had that experience that he sort of deserved for his time. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It does feel like a free hit to some degree as well, again. But at the same time, now it sort of feels like, okay, you got your first win done.
Yeah.
Now it's time to get serious, and like it really does matter. So,
and then a prelim with Collingwood on the other side awaits, which is pretty scary.
Oh, we've both beaten them.
We have.
So it's scary, but it's not impossible.
I think
finals Collingwood is a different beast. Obviously,
finals Collingwood, 90,000 at the MCG. Yeah. That might be a bit too much for the Suns if they make it.
Yeah,
but something certainly to look forward to as well.
Of course, yeah. I mean, like either way, I'm sure it'll be the same. Like whoever wins this one will be rooting for the other person for the rest of the final series.
Yeah,
so.
I think so. Yeah. I don't like. It's sort of like Australia, New Zealand when we play against each other. It's sort of like, oh, you're the enemy, but every other time it's like, no, I'm pretty keen for you to go ahead here.
Well, and especially from the Suns' point of view, where a lot of us grew up watching the Lions as the the emblematic Queensland team that you supported until you got your own like little one. So there's a lot of that. I know it seems like a cop out, and you're certainly right for the game. Like obviously there will be no love lost, but after that point, it's sort of like, well, you'd rather a Queensland team take it out.
Hopefully, we'll see. It all starts on Saturday night.
Oh yeah.